Welcome, everyone, to Together We Serve TV show. It's Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I am fired up for my guest today. I had her on my podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago, and what she's going to provide today opened my eyes between masculine and feminine energy. I'm going to show you a quick clip here. Her incredible TEDx talk that she did. I'll have the link here too. You need to listen to it. I've actually listened to it 3 times. I haven't even told her that yet, and I shared it with my wife. So this is really cool. Let me show you a little clip of my guest.
I learned that the feminine and the masculine are present in men and women as well. They are polar opposites, but at the same time, they are complementary. We all need and should use both energies. And as energies, you can't see them, but you can see how they manifest, like electricity on the light bulbs.
That is a part of her 10, 15-minute TEDx talk. But, I'm a masculine guy. I'm very masculine. And to hear that I have a feminine side was interesting, maybe shocking, but such a powerful tool. Let me bring on my guest today, Nana Ponce Leon. Nana, welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, it's a pleasure to be here with you. You're such an amazing guy. Thank you for inviting me.
God bless you. You're so humble, and she's done so much in her life. Her background, she's an actor, been in commercials, she's been on TV shows, done a lot of theater. Just amazing. That's all a lot of work. And now she's out there empowering women with this energy, and men too, with this energy. What's powerful is it works, because I've used it since I've met her. And I think I've told her and sent her a message. But let's jump into it. Masculine, feminine energy. How does it all work?
Well, so the masculine and the feminine energy are sides of us, the energy that lives in us that we all have, regardless of what gender you are. This is not about men and women. This is about everybody. So we all have a side that it's the side that wants to solve problems, that wants to accomplish things, that wants to conquer, to provide, to give. That is our masculine side. And then we have our feminine side that has, again, nothing to do with women. We all have it. And our feminine side is our creative side, our wise side, our side where love lives, the care, the receiving, not the giving, the receiving, creativity, all that lives in the feminine side.
How did you learn all this? Because I believe you were born in Cuba. Correct me if I'm wrong. Venezuela. Okay. From South America. And so she's an immigrant, which I love immigrants because they make this world grow. So how did you learn this coming from Venezuela to the United States and then start feeling this masculine, feminine energy?
I learned it after a divorce and a marriage that ended after 22 years. And when I realized this, it was a bit late for my marriage, but it certainly set me on a path of wanting to share this. So I went to an event, and the big master, Tony Robbins, was explaining this to a woman that he was doing an intervention of typical interventions that Tony does, right? And I was sitting there going like, oh my dear Lord, this is the life that I've lived. I've been in my masculine energy basically most of my life, ever since I was a little girl. I never realized it. My artistic side may be in touch with my feminine sometimes because I always love dancing and creating things, but I wasn't pursuing it as I should. And I was about conquering doing. I did the corporate world, did it for many years. One of the jobs was Microsoft for 12 years. And that world certainly enhances the masculine in all of us. And it did for me. And I love my masculine, don't get me wrong. It's the go-getter, it's It's the dopamine hit. It's that side of us that wants to conquer things, right? And conquering is a great feeling when you get that thing. But if we don't balance it with the feminine, and this is for companies, people, men or women, you're always on overdrive. Your body feels it, and especially for women. And we can get into biology if you want to. But that's how I learned it, by somebody explaining what was happening and me admitting, because that's the first thing, that was me. Super controlling, super, yeah, critical.
Yeah, and I want to hear the biology. I think it really brings this to a point where you understand it. At least I understood it more when you talked to me about the biology. Let's talk about that.
So here's biology is what it is, right? That we are in the body of a woman or in the body of a man. And I don't want to get into, gender and gender preference, because this has nothing to do with that. I'm talking strictly biology, what happens in the body of a woman versus what happens in the body of a man. We need different things. And the things that we do create a chemistry in our body. So as a woman, I need less testosterone than men do. I do need testosterone, but I need less. You guys need more. As a woman, I need more estrogen, progesterone. I need oxytocin to calm my system down, and serotonin. Oxytocin calms everybody down, but mostly women are the ones that really, really need it to generate the estrogen and the feminine hormones that we need. We can't do that in stress. And testosterone, and this is science, does not lower stress for women. It does lower, it doesn't lower it as much, but it does lower stress for men. When men generate testosterone, their stress levels go down. That doesn't necessarily happen to women. When you have high testosterone and you're go, 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 and you say to yourself, okay, I need to forget about this. I'm just going to work another hour and, focus on this. You're not helping your biology, because the chemistry that you need in that moment is serotonin, estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin. So that's
Wow,
in a nutshell. Yeah,
that's a whole mouthful.
Yes.
I love it. And it makes you understand, whether audience you understand, I don't understand completely, but it moves me closer to understanding we both have the masculine and feminine energy in us. And you're telling me, and I'm just going to say, when I watch a movie and cry, I remember the first day I cried was Brian's song. I was a big football fan. My family played football. And that's a story of, and I forget, this a football player that died, Brian Piccolo, with Gail Sayers. And I remember I can still remember it. My family moment, laying on the floor watching it, and then he's telling me he's dying. I'm getting emotional now, and I start crying. And my dad looked at me like I was kind of, "Why are you crying?" But again, back then, this is the '60s, '70s, very masculine. I'm an Italian fan, very masculine. And what you've taught me is it's okay, and I cry a lot, not a lot, but I have no problem crying in front of people. Is that? Am I talking about my feminine side when I say that? Am I correct in that?
Yes. Yes, because all of those feelings live in your feminine side, and there's nothing wrong with the feminine side. For a man, on the contrary, it helps you with your heart attacks and your high blood pressure and all of that. Of course, yes. However, if men stay too much in their feminine side, the chemistry, this is chemistry that you're generating in your body, doesn't necessarily help you as much as it would for a woman. If you're stressed, right, you usually don't say, I need to sit down and cry. You just go work out,
Yeah.
right? Or you dive into a plan that's something that you want to do, and that helps you forget. And men do forget. We just don't understand that, right? It's like, how can he disconnect like that? You can. And there's a whole biology behind that. We're not going to get into that. But yeah. So yes, that is your feminine side, but that is okay.
Yeah, some people call that golf for men. Golf is a great
Or
distraction, even
golf.
though it causes stress and anxiety when you make a bad call. Because I love golf, I'm getting back into it, but that's what I think of. Because businessmen go all the time. Hey, I'm jumping out to the golf course to get away from my business for a while and have some fun. I love that you're saying
and,
that.
and, it's, and, it's and
Okay.
you're competing. It's a competition, whether it be with somebody else. So if you're just going through the golf course yourself, you're kind of competing against yourself. You want to beat your best score that you have done. So it's
Yeah,
a competition, right? That drives you to your masculine side.
yeah. So
But
I
if
mean,
you but if you watch the sunset and you go like, oh, that's beautiful. That's your feminine side. Same
yeah.
goal.
It's so simple. We just need to be aware of it. I want you to tell in the podcast we talked about. I want you to tell a story working for Microsoft, and when you walked into the meeting with all those men, that interaction. It's such a powerful story.
This was when I was beginning to uh, use my feminine and embrace it and know that I could bring it to the corporate world, which we women don't think we can do, and we absolutely can. This was more of an outside feminine, right? Because it was about getting dressed. But I I was out of Microsoft already, and I was doing consulting, and I was a sales consultant for a big French company. And it was a meeting in sales with the VP of sales and all the entire sales team. And in I walked with this colorful dress and cowboy boots. And, it's like I couldn't choose another pair of shoes, but cowboy boots. So I do the cowboy boots and I walk in, and this woman says to me, "Where are you going dressed like that?" And without me even having a chance to say anything, the VP of sales says, "Do we pay her for what she knows or for how she looks?" So that for me was just a great moment of I can embrace my feminine. Men are going to accept my feminine side and not dismiss my knowledge, what I know, what I can bring to a corporation just because I'm wearing cowboy boots. I know that's a bit daring. This is like over a decade ago, so this is a long time ago. Um,
Yeah,
but it was my beginning of understanding that the feminine side does have um, a space in the workplace. Now, that being said, the feminine energy is not about all just what you wear.
much more. There's much more to it. And with that being said, the crowd, because that is such a great comment. Yeah, it's great. I love doing that. And a drum roll.
Wow. Okay.
Now tell us,
Uh-huh.
this is the big question, people in business. Because I know there's probably people listening going, men, because I'm a man going, I can't show my feminine side. What are you talking about, Nana? I've got to lead these guys. I got to lead them into combat, in a sense, business. We've got to
Yes.
be successful. All that stuff that comes with it. Maybe it's baggage. So how we do this in business? Let's start with the men.
Okay. So men, what we women say is that you guys are heartless. You don't understand us. Um, we have a conversation and it's like a one-way street. Like, you're giving orders. You're dismissing what I feel. You're dismissing, or if I cry, then I'm seen as weak. Like you don't care. You don't understand me. So if you bring your feminine side, which is the side of you that's going to communicate better, the side of you that's going to care for that person, that is going to love them as a human being, as a person who exists and has the right to be heard and understood, then your leadership skills are going to improve. And this is, well known. I mean, you improve your communication skills, and of course your leadership goes up. So you will connect with your employees in a different way. They will respect you in a different way. So it is possible and it's needed to bring it to the corporate side. Your customers, whenever you care for your customers, that's your feminine side. But when you say, I need to sell something to my customer, whether they need it or not, whether it's important for them or not, but I just want to sell, that's your masculine side wanting to sell,
Yeah.
have this product be bought by them. But when you care for them, when you say this product is going to service them, it's going to allow them to have a better, I don't know, life. It's going to make their life easier in this way or that way, then that's feminine. So you see,
Yeah.
this is a dance. You're not really 100% on one or 100% on the other, though some people are mostly on one or the other, which I was, for example. But when a man brings their feminine to the meeting, to the way they manage a company, immediately productivity goes up.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Right. Let's flip it now. We've got many women leaders out there, presidents, CEOs, founders of businesses, very successful. How does it work on that side?
Well, it works exactly the same way. But here's the thing, and this is something that I did myself. I'm not pointing fingers about something that I have not done myself. I did this. Most women today in corporate, in business, are being successful, no doubt, but they're mostly using their masculine energy. So we women are complaining that we live in a patriarchal society, but us being in our masculine energy, leading a company, guiding a team, just being a business person, leading with the masculine energy, we women are doing exactly the same thing we complain about of men. So women need to be able to understand that bringing their feminine is as important and necessary as bringing the masculine. And we have to dare to go there. That's where really the courage
Right.
lives. Not to bring your masculine. You're not courageous when you bring your masculine to work because that's what it's expected. That's what we should do.
That's a
But when
great
you
point there. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you bring your feminine to a meeting, and we talked about this also in the podcast, when in a meeting you say, "I don't know, I don't understand, I'm scared," it's et cetera, right? You show your vulnerability. That's your feminine side. But that is a side that needs to come out if you want to make any progress. Because
And
unless
if
you
that,
admit,
yeah, I know. So the male, so let's work with that. This is a great point. So I'm a leader. I'm like, guys, I'm scared. I'm fearful. We're losing money here. We need to turn this around. I'm losing sleep at night. He's being very vulnerable. Love that word.
yes,
How does he, as a leader, as CEO, president, whatever title he has, handle those males that are, looking down like, oh, look at our crazy leader. Oh God, this guy's crazy. He's fear. Do you just get
so
rid of
here,
them, or do you
this
work?
is,
You know where I'm going with this, right? Yeah.
I love this because this is super tricky. Super
Yes.
tricky. And I'm going to get here into probably controversial things, right? It is not the same, and this is socially, and we can't fight what is, right? It is not the same for a man to be vulnerable than for a woman. And this is a society kind of thing, right? If a man shows his vulnerability without trying to have a solution, not trying, without having a couple probably solutions right there in place, or you already solved the problem, but after solving the problem, you say, you know what? I was terrified we weren't going to be able to do this. But now I have strategy 1, 2, and 3 that we are going as a team to implement. And I don't know what the result is, but this is my strategy. That works great when it's a man. A woman can afford to not have the solution and show vulnerability. Now, why is this controversial? Oh, it's like, oh, women, we're saying it's different. Yes, it is. It is because that's just nature. A woman can afford to show her total vulnerability, not have a solution, not know what to do, just cry. And it can be okay. If a man does that, it can impact the relationship in a different way. So when men are vulnerable, it's tricky. It's best if a man is vulnerable once they have a solution. And this is at home or at work. When you say, honey, I've been with an ulcer for a whole week because you know what? I lost my job. I didn't want to tell you. Well, I'm exaggerating. Of course, your wife would probably know. Or I lost that big contract and I didn't want to tell you. But I did this. I did that. I already have a loan from the bank. So you give the solution, and then you say, you know what? I was broken. I was in pieces. That's the best position for the man to show vulnerability. But when he does it without having any idea how this is going to be solved, it can cause a lot of fear in their partner if they're married to a woman, and it can cause a lot of fear in your employees. So it's kind of tricky because it's a little different for men and women, but it is essential to move forward. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And I feel an anxiety as you're talking about that. Yeah. If you don't have it, because people look at you, go, you're male, you're the leader, you don't have an answer. Not that a female doesn't look, but she doesn't look they're looking as strongly, which is wrong because it doesn't matter if you're female or male, you need to have an answer. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean today, but you're working towards an answer. So let's work in another group. We have a lot of immigrants coming in. You're an immigrant, and I'm so glad you're here. And being female immigrant going into, like you did, into Microsoft and this French company, what did they do, and how much does their masculine and feminine dance happen with them? I'm coming from India. I'm coming here to be an engineer. Now I'm working for Apple, and I got these strong Apple male leaders. How do I handle that?
So let me see. Can you rephrase the question?
I moved from another country here to work,
right.
And I'm female. Got the feminine side. I'm female working at Apple as an engineer, which is a very strong, what I've heard, people that work there, very strong company, very strong work ethic, and male dominated. How does the female from India handle that and do the dance? Do they stay a little more feminine to stay there, or do they bounce to the masculine, or is it just job to job, person to person?
Okay.
It's a tough question, I know, but
yeah, well, because you see, there are many things in that question. That's why it's so deep, because you have the racial, the immigrant side, and then the gender, right? I'm going to speak about me, and this may be strange, but I never have felt less than because I'm a Latina. That is something that, for some strange reason, I don't have an explanation other than at home, because I came to the United States when I was 1 year old, because my dad went to school at LSU and he studied there. He was a chemist, but he came to specialize in sugar. So I was 1 year old, and we were immigrants. And back in those days, I'm not going to say how many years ago, it was even tougher for Latino immigrants. However, I never heard in my house ever my mom or my dad say something happened because of race, that they were, and it was happening. Oh, it was so happening. But they never brought it to my attention. So then, fast forward 20 years, I'm in New York studying business. And I kid you not, never did it cross my mind that I was being discriminated. And maybe for that reason, I wasn't, but I didn't see it. I went into Microsoft and I didn't think of discrimination. Though I just want to clarify, I worked for Microsoft in Venezuela, but of course there were plenty of trips there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me was a non-issue. The masculine side and the go-getter and the woman was more than the race. And in my mind, I had to be more like the boys to be able to succeed. That I did feel. So I was like one of the boys.
Yeah, and you answered that. You answered it very well, because I wanted you to, if somebody's listening as an immigrant moving here, wherever they're doing, they're working, I just want to make their life a little bit easier. And you did that by that answer and your story, because we're humans, no matter male, female. We've talked about this, the way we really connected so well. I don't care who you're, female or female, we're humans. Let's help each other. That's why I'm doing Business with a Servant Heart podcast, and together we serve. Together, if you're an immigrant and you're great at what you do, I want to embrace you. I want to help you and support you. I just, somebody to listen and be able to do that dance like you just said.
And that being said, I don't want to, I don't want to make believe that there is no racism out there. There is no discrimination because of you're an immigrant. Yes, there is. Absolutely there is. And it shouldn't be. However, in my case, what I did, and this is not because I was so enlightened, it just because that's the way I grew up. Like I said, I paid no attention to it. I didn't see it. And even if I was discriminated, maybe because I wasn't looking for it, it just went right over my head. And it was like, oh, you're not discriminating me. And maybe you were, but I paid no attention to it. So it wasn't important to me, and it didn't affect me. So I guess the nugget here would be, just embrace who you are and stop looking. And this, I'm going to take it back to the feminine and the masculine, right? We women are looking with magnifying glasses at everything you guys do to justify our belief that we are in competition, that you don't want my best interest, that, men do not want me to succeed. And this is in corporate, and this is at home, and this is everywhere, right? We're looking for the littlest thing. So if you look for it, you're going to find it, no doubt. Because one day we're going to be in a meeting and you're going to talk at me like with that voice. You're not going to be in the best mood. And I'm going to focus on that. See? But the reality is, maybe you're going through a bad day. Maybe you have, it has nothing to do with me and more to do with you. So, but going back to the masculine and the feminine, if I'm in my feminine, in my nurturing feminine, I'm going to probably understand and take a breath and say, okay, this may not be personal. Let me just listen. Let me really listen. Let me ask a question like, how are you feeling? Is everything okay? Even you can say, why are you talking to me like that? Because you never do. Or you've been talking to me too much like that. Is there something that needs to be discussed? Right? And we feel like the workplace, it's not a place to have those conversations. No, it is. We spend too much time at work not to have these conversations.
God bless you, Nana, because the other thing that I'm learning that I want to put out there is it's mindset. Your mindset was, maybe I'm being racist against and discriminated, but I didn't see it. And I know that's not easy out there, audience, but I'm so glad you said that, because you're a hard worker, and I could just tell your energy. Not everybody could be Nana, but we could take parts of you and learn from you and be able to apply it to our life. And that's the power of sharing and mentoring like you do. You're so good at it. Let's take a quick break. I want Nana get some water because she's got a great story to tell. I'm going to surprise her with that. But let's take a quick 2 or 3 minute break, and we'll come right back.
That there were studies that showed very robust effects on the prefrontal networks. that showed a much more potent event and effect when you receive gratitude, when you receive thanks, when you see someone receiving help. It is much better for your brain than giving gratitude, than giving thanks, than even making those long gratitude lists that we are told that we should do at night. Receiving is better. So learning that science has proven now that receiving has a much more beneficial impact on your brain than giving just shows scientifically that receiving is extremely important.
Welcome to our show. Together we serve. Welcome to our show. Sit back and enjoy. We will talk with people about their stories. With our host Ramona, we're ready to start. Together we serve. Together we serve. Together we serve. Together we serve. Welcome to our show. Together we serve. Welcome to our show. Sit back and enjoy. Education, inspiration, motivation for business and life. With our host Ramona, we're ready to start.
Little quickie break there. I love her website. And you saw on the front page, she dances. I can't dance. I probably need to hire her because she looks so beautiful. But talking about the dance between masculine and feminine, she's living it. That's why I loved having her on, because I believe people that are mentoring, helping, and supporting people are doing it themselves. So it's really powerful. And that receiving 30-second, 50-second clip is what I've lived my life the last 2 years, completely changed me. So I love that she talked about that in her TEDx talk that was so popular. I'm going to bring Nana back on. And, oops. Oh, there she is. There she is. Welcome back, Nana. Well,
Hi, Steve.
I just love that video. I love making you laugh. I'm going to throw this up there. So there's the TED Talk link. If you can't get the link or it's too fast, just search her name in the TEDx Talk. Like I said, I've listened to it 3 times, especially when I was down. I had a day, something happened. I would listen to 10 minutes. Great therapy for me. But I really would love for you to tell the story you told me about the gentleman in the front row. What happened after you did your TEDx Talk?
Yes, that has been something. It happened in the TEDx, but it's happened at a few. Well, I'll just go into them. So this gentleman, and when you see the TEDx, you're going to see him. He's sitting in the front row with an older gentleman, and I could see him kind of at certain moments wiggling, and he would be, talking to the gentleman next to him. And of course, you wonder, oh my God, what did I say? But the TEDx goes on. I finish. I walk off stage. I didn't see this until I saw the TEDx myself. But I see, they cut right before he jumps off his seat. And then he runs after me. I'm being walked to the green room, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and it's him, and he thanks me for the TEDx. And I'm like, oh, you're welcome. But the way he said thank you was such a powerful, beautiful thank you that I know it meant, it wasn't just thank you for a talk. It was like he was thanking me for something I gave him, I guess. And I said, you're welcome, but why? What happened? He said, you made me realize why I'm divorcing my wife. And wow, that moment for me was so emotional because it was a surprise that I impacted in such a way a man because I usually think of my talks and my coaching for women because that's one of my missions, right? I say one now because I'm including you guys in it. But my mission is to help women embrace their feminine, bring it, improve the relationships, find the time that they are always saying that they don't have for themselves and the peace, right? But here is this man saying thank you for making him understand why he's divorcing his wife. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it finally ended or not. But the fact that he was now aware, because that to me was like, what do you mean you didn't know why you were divorcing your wife? You're divorcing her. And then it dawned on me, it's like, oh, now he understood the dynamic that was going on at home, how he was behaving, how she was behaving, what they were doing to each other and in their lives. And it probably made sense to him that he was divorcing her.
Yeah.
Now, that happened with 4 more gentlemen that day, by the way, that they were like, oh my God, oh, you made me understand this. And that is something that is happening more and more. That men are coming to me with this realization of even how they are bringing maybe their feminine too much to a relationship now. And this is at work or at home. If men stay too much in their feminine as a way to avoid conflict with a woman, because here's what happens, right? You're in the workplace, and what happens when 2 men are debating about something, about a project, and they're both in their masculine, there is going to be confrontation. That doesn't mean that it's bad confrontation, but there is going to be confrontation. There's going to be competition. That's what the masculine energy does, right? I want to succeed. Do you want to succeed? Yeah, me too. I want to, bring this. That's what the masculine does, and it's okay. Now, when this is 2 men, we just see it as normal. But when it's a man and a woman, the dynamic feels a little different. And when it's personal, that both of you are in your masculine energy, man and masculine, woman and masculine, you collide and you clash. This is a typical relationship, husband and wife fighting all the time. Boyfriend, girlfriend, fighting all the time. Now, what does a man have to do to avoid the conflict? If a woman is in her masculine, he has to go to the feminine. Avoid the conflict. Otherwise, it's head-on collision all the time.
Yeah.
If the woman doesn't step down from her masculine, right? So you guys going to your feminine to avoid conflict with us in our masculine can be good to handle a situation, but not permanent. Because then we're in a reversal of the energies and the roles, which we haven't gotten into. Role, biology, and energy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
men was showing me is that men are understanding, when I explain this, they're understanding themselves and they're understanding their wife or their co-worker and saying, oh, so that's why that's why she.
It's powerful. And count me as one of those 6 watching that today. I'm sure there's many more that haven't told you that you've made an impact. And it's so unique, but it's so obvious. When we started talking before the show and we did the show, I'm like, duh, Steve, you should have known this. It's not my fault. I'm not dumb, but because I'm not aware. It's awareness, which happens in life, right?
It's 100% awareness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm just going to piggyback on the word awareness because it's my favorite, and all the women that do coaching with me can tell you that. That's my favorite word in the world, awareness, because that's what it takes, right? If you ask me one thing that I should do to be able to navigate this feminine masculine energy thing is become aware in the situation that you are right now, what you're doing right now in this moment. if you're in the middle of a meeting, something comes up and there is what do I need in this moment? Do I need compassion? Do I need empathy? Do I need understanding? Do I need communication? That's my feminine. Or do I just need to buckle up and solve a problem and find a resolution for something? Then I have to go to my masculine. So it just takes awareness. What do I need in this moment? Nothing is good or bad. It's what's needed.
And I like what you do in your coaching, because this is not something you can, I say this all the time on my shows. I can't go to Google and search, when do I be masculine? There's nothing out there that I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I love what you do, right? Because you make us accountable. You made me accountable when I listened to your TEDx talk to, hey, understand these. Talk about that coaching, how important the accountability is.
Well, the first coaching I did was to myself. And of course, I got a coach, and I've done therapy as well for many years. I haven't done therapy in a while, but I did. And so for me, becoming aware of using these tools, right? Being aware of, first, what did I do in my marriage? Why did it end? Of course, you can go into, details, but in general, I brought my masculine to it, right? So I became aware of that. And I rarely went to my feminine in my relationship. And that caused a whole lot of trouble to myself and with my partner. Now, here's something super important for women to understand. Health is affected when you're always in your masculine. Women are getting more sick than ever before, and we're getting sick of things that we never did before. Like, those were not typical sicknesses of us. Cardiovascular disease was not a woman's disease. Now, not that I'm saying, men should be the only ones. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that new diseases are appearing in our lives.
Yeah.
Product of the imbalance that we are having. But of course, if a woman is living in her masculine, we're doing the same thing that we said for decades to men. You don't show your emotion, you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Women are suppressing their emotions because they're not going to their feminine. You're in your masculine, go, 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 go. For a woman, being in the masculine all the time is like a car running at those RPMs when you start to see the orange and then the red. If the car drives at that RPM all the time, it's going to blow up the engine, right? That's what we're doing to ourselves when we're in our masculine. Testosterone all the time, cortisol, adrenaline, our system is running down.
That's interesting. You talk about heart attacks, and you're right. Because I remember as young kid, my dad talking to friends like, hey, we got to slow down. We're going to have a heart attack, and watch out for the heart attack. And 60s and 70s, my friend just had a heart attack. Later, now heart attacks I'm talking to 40, 50-year-olds are having heart attacks now. That didn't happen 30 years ago. And we're not going to get into all the variables, but I see where jumping in the feminine side could help me control that, blood pressure, heart rate, and all that. And then masculine help me control where I need to be strong. What do you think let's use the employee side now. I love this part. Got the leader. We talked about the male leader, the female leader, president, CEO. But how about those managers and 8 to 5 employees? How do they do this dance? I love saying that. That's why I keep saying that. How do they do this dance of the masculine, feminine from their desks in their peer group?
Well, it's exactly the same thing. It's awareness, right? It's the situation that we have at hand right now. For example, when there is a crisis, I don't know, just a client called and the product is not working, the service is down, an emergency. There's no time for the feminine. That's a moment to resolve, to buckle up, get your sleeves up, and let's solve this problem. That's masculine, and everybody in the team should be there. Now, if someone sees that we're stuck, right? Because sometimes we get stuck. We're trying to solve a problem, and we're 100% in our masculine, and we're stuck. and it's not working. It's time to say, okay, wait a minute. Maybe we need to take a breather here. Maybe we need to do a couple of breaths. Maybe we need to go outside, walk, watch the sun. I don't know, have a conversation, connect, and then we come back to it. That's going to using the feminine to decompress, right? That can be super helpful. Men need to decompress and manage stress differently. You can't tell a man to lower their stress by going to the feminine. Usually, it doesn't work, right? Usually, men need high levels of testosterone to bring their stress down, and this is proven by science. If they're too low in the testosterone, the stress goes up.
Mm.
For women, it's reverse. Testosterone doesn't lower our stress. Estrogen and oxytocin, serotonin lower our stress. If a woman is stressed and she hypes up her masculine, and as a manager, if you're seeing a woman constantly in her masculine, she's all stressed, giving her more work is not going to lower the stress. Asking her to solve the problem right now is not going to lower her stress. You can do that to a man, but not to a woman. So as a manager, understanding these differences is super, super important, because we tend to want to paint everything with the same brush. And now with the equality and all kinds of stuff that we're not going to get into because that's not what this is about,
Mm-hmm.
this is becoming extremely harmful for the organization. And productivity is not usually going up.
Yeah.
And companies suffer because of it.
Well, you just you're bringing out so many incredible tips today. It's like you're on fire today, Nana. I'm glad you're here, because what you said is, I'm like, what a great assessment tool for a manager to look and go, okay, he's masculine, too much feminine. I need to, and have that, not the masculine feminine conversation, but understanding, awareness of my employees. You just made my job 50% easier. Am I thinking right?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so, because I want your employees to be happier and be
Yeah.
more productive. And because you ultimately, what does an organization want? Of course, they want to make money, but if your employees are happy, if the stress levels are lower, that is going to boost productivity. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that. A company that burns out their employees, and there are plenty of those out there, plenty, because they don't know any better. I'm not even pointing fingers in the sense that, oh, they're so evil. No, they don't know any better. We don't know any better, right? So if you burn your employees down by having women always have to go to their masculine because they feel that's the only way to rise up in the ranks, to be taken into consideration as a man, if the company enhances that only the masculine is the one that gets the praises and the results, well, of course, you're going to have a bunch of women using their masculine all the time, and you are missing out. And here's the thing, organizations, companies, businesses, you're missing out on a huge part of life and of business, because a business needs both. You want to serve. That's what you are about, right? You speak. But so does your company. So does everything that your business is about, I'm guessing, because it's your business, right? And the serving part means I got to take these two things into consideration to serve better.
That's a key. Serve better. I can't believe this show's flying by so fast. It's the fastest 50 minutes I've probably had in my life in 62 years. But speaking of de-stress, I love finding out about my guests. So what do you do outside of work that helps you de-stress?
I love this question. I love it. Well, here's something that probably people are not going to believe. I don't have set time and activities to de-stress or to eliminate stress. Like I don't have like, okay, I need at 5, I know I need to do this to manage my stress. What I do, and this works, I'm telling you it works, is I spread my de-stressors throughout the day. How? By doing this. Right now, I'm enjoying this conversation with you with every cell in my body. That's my feminine. I'm just here flowing with you. If you ask me something that I need to solve, then I'll go to my masculine. And being able to be in that balance allows me to stress less. So I don't need to say, okay, I need 2 hours today to de-stress, right? Because if you're in the balance, you're able to lower your stress. So that being said, what do I do? Right now, as I'm talking to you, I just looked out the window. I told you I'm not home. I'm in San Diego at an event, and there's a beautiful blue sky out there. So I take that in, right? It immediately lowers my stress. My oxytocin, my serotonin, they all go up. I enjoy that moment. I come back to you, right? I dance. I love dancing. So
Yeah.
I dance as I cook. I dance as I clean the house. I really do. If people watch
I
me through a
see
little
it.
hole,
I can see it. Yeah.
like when I'm alone in the house, it's like I'm blasting music and and if not, I have and I cook doing that, right? So now cooking doesn't become a stressful thing. It's like I'm enjoying I'm flowing. That lowers my stress. Now I hit the gym too. That's testosterone booster. So careful with that, right? But that helps me because I always loved working out. But sometimes I go walking. So I get there walking and I enjoy the squirrel that just walked by and the tree and I feel the air. So it's my feminine side. And then I go to the gym and I'm starting to pump iron. That's my masculine and my testosterone. That makes me feel good too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That makes everybody feel good. So what do? I try to be in that. Do I do this perfectly every day? Absolutely not.
You're human. We're human. That's what happens. But if
Yes.
you strive for it, that's what humans can do. Strive for it.
And this is something that I coach my ladies to learn how to do. That's how they are able to do it. And it takes practice, it takes knowing the tools, and it takes becoming aware and having an accountability partner to do the work because it takes work.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to the end of the show. You are absolutely amazing. What an amazing show. Thank you so much. I know the audience is going to think, I know I'm going to get messages because it's so powerful. Is the website that's shown down below the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yes, that's
Your
and all my
website?
social media, everything is Nana Ponce Leon. You look in Instagram, Nana Ponce Leon, that's me, and Facebook and
We'll find
TikTok,
her.
everywhere. Yeah.
And reach out to me if you need to find her too. I've got all her contact info. Thank you for dancing with me. I'm not a very good dancer, but today I felt like a great dancer. Baryshnikov kind of comes to my mind. I'm an older guy. So he was a famous, if you're young people, very famous dancer that I remember. An actor. He actually played in the movie too. So thank you again so much. And hey, as I always say, take this show and learn from it. Me and Nana would love for you to watch the whole show. If part of it resonates with you, like this last part, I'm going to go out and walk right after this show. When I leave with was this show out, I'm going to go walk. She just inspired me to go sit outside and get some sun. So take it and learn and educate. And look for my next episode of Together We Serve. I have Brian Head coming on, who is an equity partner and helps with real estate and investing. You're going to love him as well. Nana, thank you. God bless you. And audience, we'll see you all very soon.